Peace, be still. A story of Jesus and the storm. The sun hung low on the horizon, casting golden light across the Sea of Galilee. The day had been long. Jesus had spent hours teaching, healing, and feeding the multitudes. His words had touched many, yet his body ached with exhaustion. As evening fell, he turned to his disciples and said quietly, "Let us go over to the other side." The disciples, faithful and worn, nodded and began preparing the boat. The wind was calm, the water gentle, and the sky clear. It was the kind of evening that promised peace. Jesus climbed into the stern, found a cushion, and lay down. The rhythm of the waves, the lull of the boat, and the hum of the disciples' voices faded as he drifted into sleep. They were halfway across the lake when it happened. First a whisper of wind, then a gust, then a roar. The Sea of Galilee was notorious for sudden, violent storms, and this one came like a lion. The wind howled down from the mountains, turning the peaceful sea into a cauldron of terror. The boat pitched violently. Black clouds devoured the moon. Rain lashed the disciples' faces, stinging like needles. Thunder cracked overhead, and lightning tore through the sky like fire from heaven. Waves surged and slammed into the boat, pouring water into it faster than they could bail it out. The disciples, seasoned fishermen like Peter, James, and John, had battled storms before, but this one was different. This storm was furious, merciless, alive. "We're going to drown. Can't keep her afloat. The water's coming in too fast." Their shouts were torn away by the wind. Panic filled the boat. Hearts pounded, hands trembled, fear swallowed faith, and through it, all Jesus slept. "Teacher, don't you care?" In disbelief, they turned to him. He lay on the cushion, soaked by the storm, but undisturbed. As if the chaos outside could not touch the peace within him, so they cried out louder than the storm. "Teacher, Master, Lord, don't you care that we're perishing?" Jesus opened his eyes. There was no fear in him, only calm, steady clarity. He rose to his feet, his presence commanding even amid the wind and water. He stood at the edge of the boat, facing the storm. The sea howled. The disciples watched, soaked and trembling. Then Jesus lifted his hand, and with a voice stronger than thunder, spoke 3 words. "Peace, be still." It's the great calm. Instantly, the wind ceased. The waves obeyed. The sea settled like glass. The only sound left was the quiet dripping of water off the sails and the labored breaths of 12 stunned men. Where there had been rage, there was now silence. Where there had been fear, now there was awe. The disciples stared at Jesus. They had seen him heal the sick, cast out demons, speak wisdom beyond understanding. But now, "Who is this?" they whispered, "that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Jesus turned to them not with anger, but with a loving firmness that pierced through their shaken souls. "Why are you so afraid?" he asked. "Do you still have no faith?" The disciples said nothing, but something shifted in them that night. The storm had not only tested their boat, it had tested their hearts. They realized something powerful. It is not the absence of storms that proves God's presence. It is his peace within them. Jesus hadn't promised calm seas. He had promised his presence, and in that there was power. Enough to still the storm within them. That night, the storm passed, but the memory of his words, "Peace, be still," remained in their hearts forever. The end.